can always be on
Hello and welcome to Soundcheck. This is John. I'm your host and the founder of Learner to Learner. And what we do here on Soundcheck is to talk about all things audio, anything that's related to audio. And I have a few interesting topics that I brought over from the Roadcaster user meetup group, another different show, into here, as well as new topics, new microphones that was released by Shure recently that we can talk about. And we can ask the opinion from Sean himself. Sean is back with us. Let me see if I can switch. Can you all hear me now? I think I've turned on my microphone back on, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm Sean. No, I'm that Sean.
Sean and John are here. And
Sean.
If you are on Clubhouse, welcome as well. You are able to just tap on that link that is pinned on top. You can then go to watch us on YouTube if you're so inclined. If you just want to stay in audio, you can continue listening from Clubhouse. But feel free to hop over there. And how do you do that? If you also want to join in the conversation, you can just go to learnertolearner.com and there's a link for you to click to join so that you can come join us on a Zoom call and you'll be on the show once you join the Zoom call. So I'm going to leave that ticker down there for you for a little bit. And I also pin the link to joining the show as well on the wait, what am I doing here? I think I'm hitting my keyboard shortcut.
That was funny.
Here is the link. So on the I'm actually monitoring. I'll show you what I'm looking at right now. So this is what I'm looking at. So I'm putting in links in the chat, right? And oh my gosh, sorry about that. Just look at the right-hand side, like where my cursor is. In order for me to pin the chat, I have to click on this 3 dots, right? Then I can pin the message so that people can see it. But if it's the first message, I can't do that because it's covered up by this reaction button. So I have to do here's the link and here's the link. Then I can pin it. Next time I can just paste 2 messages and then just go from there so they can pin it. Anyway,
where's Michael when you need him? He's
I know. I need to
superstar.
I need to be able to automate this process, I'm going to learn how to do it better. Like I'm sure there are streaming tools out there that will help you. It's like a bot, once you start the show, boom, it pasted the link and all that in there. So I need to figure out how to do it. I still don't know how to do it. But anyway, welcome, Sean, back to Soundcheck.
How are you doing?
What's up with you? Are you still in music writing mode?
Yeah, I performed last night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was really good. Packed house.
Cool.
And yeah, my band's we're writing new music all the time.
What kind of music?
It's trip hop.
Trip
hop and liquid and drum and bass.
Can you give us some sample? Like
no, not on YouTube, man. No.
Not even sample? Like 10 seconds of it? Like a preview?
Yeah, I'll pull something. Okay. I'll pull one up for you.
Okay.
Oh, do one live. Come on.
Well, no, we got two. We're going in the studio next month, so we're going to record 2 of them. So those ones are registered. So yeah, I can play them. YouTube will do what it needs to do. So yeah, just give me. I'll grab one. But
okay.
Yeah, we're doing that, and writing a lot, doing a lot of writing. Yeah, just enjoying making music again.
Creative mode, like step away a little bit from the technical side of things and get to be creative, embrace the creative side a little bit more?
It's funny, the technical is still going, but as far as the post-production for the podcast and what my company's doing, I'm letting my employees handle a lot of that. So the only thing I'm doing now is just consulting. Mm-hmm. So like an hour, 2-hour call, pay me, and then I'm done. So I don't have to go and sit and edit. It's just there's an hour, boom, I'll answer all your questions, give you advice. So that's what I'm doing, and then the rest is just making music, doing remixes.
That's a really good. I want to say like change of pace. It's like you're switching gear.
Well, I'm using the other side of my brain.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Enjoying it. I was burnt out. Like I went far at a very high level for a very long time, and then I started the company, and then it was just all audio and tech. And the big change is I'm done. I'm now using Pro Tools, Ableton every day.
Ableton Live.
Yeah, and I'm just writing a song a day now. It's fun because Pro Tools I was just used to it. But in Ableton, it's so quick, and I just have all the gear and everything, and it's fun again. So I'm happy
which is
that.
What I asked this question on the other show on Rodecaster Pro. Well, not asked this question, but I'm about to hop onto the creator camp organized by Ecamm.
Right, you talked about
in
that
October.
Before, yeah.
So it's October 15th, I think it's when it starts, and leading up to it, there are questions that they ask in our Discord group where everybody has to answer so that everybody gets to know about each other a little bit. Like, what do you do? I mean, why do you use Ecamm, and like, what do you do as like a professionally, or what do you do as a creator? And this last question that was asked was the why. Why do you create? And so I think you would be a great person, like especially just answer that knowing that you're switching of gears, right? So I told Ernesto, hello Ernesto, who is we have 7 people watching. So thank you all for watching. So I
can definitely answer that.
Yeah, my answer to that was I cannot use this I thought I can clip this and send it as my assignment homework, but I have to finish everything in 1 minute, so I don't think I can do that. I'm going to take the time. So why I created, and I've been thinking about this question because I thought it was wait, I don't want to, this is not John Ong, this is John Ong. I wanted to answer that question, and I thought, yeah, of course, I created my podcast, my Penang Hokkien podcast, to preserve a dying language. But is that why I create, though? I start to question myself, and then I start doing this. Like I go live, doing live stream for Soundcheck and Rodecaster User Meetup, and created this learner to learner channel. I do this because I I'm interested to learn about audio stuff, and I want to encourage a bunch of people who are interested in learning to come learn with me. And I think that's closer to what I wanted to create, which is I enjoy creating spaces for people to congregate, talking about things that I personally enjoy, because then I can curate things that I wanted to hear. Right? I'm very selective with what I want to put my mental space. Things that goes into my brain these days have to be things that only bring me joy. Like there's a lot of like other things that I don't really care. I'm escaping from it, and I don't want to talk about it. So I want to create some time, a space, so that people can do what people wanted to do. So I think that's ultimately my answer. Why do I create? Because I want to use creativity to create spaces, because it's not just creating one final product. What I'm good at, I mean, of course I do that for work. I do that, for other things. But I think what I'm really good at and what I'm enjoying doing is create a space for people to come join. And I think this is more of a true manifestation of why I create Learner to Learner, that is. It is bigger than talking about audio. It's about how we learn. And you all know this, I'm going to repeat this multiple times. What really the catalyst of pushing me to starting to create spaces for learning about audio was how I was treated when I wanted to learn. Remember I talked about it on Clubhouse, and nothing against that person. I think it's just, I want to create my own space where I want to create a space how I want the learning to be. So his learning is telling me you can't do it, so don't waste time. I wanted to learn why I cannot do that. So I'm not wasting time if I wanted to learn to know why I can't do that, right? So that is my idea, and that is the whole reason why I created Learner to Learner, is so that I can ask questions that I don't know, or share questions that I already have answers to through experience or through talking to other people who know the answer, and hopefully inspire the learning from each other, because it's a continuous process. Learning is fun, especially when we learn together. Well, that could be my tagline. Anyway, so
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
So that's the reason why I want to create a space where I want other people to come join, a space that I myself want. This instance would be the learning experience. And then for my podcast is to create a space where people can come, have fun, talk about nonsensical things, but then while they're talking about nonsensical things or rude things or things that we don't get to hear, sometimes as Asians, our media, but growing up in Asia, all our media on TV, radio, very proper, right? Because, there's like a certain thing that you got to carry your family name, you got to represent, you got to be at your top-notch behavior. I want to talk about the things that people are not able to hear except for when you're in your private conversations. And that's my podcast for Penang Hokkien. But the whole purpose to make it that interesting and that fun and that kind of almost like you're eavesdropping a group of close friends talking, that kind of atmosphere is great because it makes people want to talk. When they talk, they use the language. When they use the language is preserved. And at least I'm doing something very indirectly to contribute to the effort of language preservation. So I'm not doing it like the very noble classic way of language preservation. I do it my own way. So that's why I create. There, I cannot finish in 1 minute. Sorry.
I think you can.
Now you all decide. John Lowe, do you want to start first, or do you want Sean to go first? Why do you create?
Yeah, Sean can go first. I think Sean will have a answer thought up, why he's creating. I'm still trying to figure out life.
Well, the before I answer, John, I wanted to ask you. You talked about why you create, but I didn't hear anything about music.
Okay. Okay, so creating music is different. That has the different. So I guess I'm looking at it at the context of using Ecamm to create things that I put out there. Singing, singing, I'm not talking about like writing music because I'm not good at it. But singing itself is creating because I produce the sound, right? I
Right.
create the sound. So that has a different purpose. That is a very selfish purpose. That
Okay.
is for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Singing brings joy that I get only from singing. I don't get it anywhere else. It's like, I get a certain happiness and joy from, a happy relationship, friendship, and doing shows like this. But when I sing, before Clubhouse, when I sing, it's just me. I don't, well, even right now with Clubhouse, I still don't always sing on Clubhouse. But at least then now I can share it with other people. I'm starting to do that. I'm starting to post it on my personal channels and all that. It gives me joy to sing. But I'm starting to see, because now I'm starting to share more of my singing outside, it also brings me joy when other people are feeling the joy that I put out when I am singing. So but that's something that I haven't thought through thoroughly.
So there is a method to my madness, because and asking that question, because, like I said, I was lucky. When I started out, I did very well and had a lot of success. But recently, as far as teaching and all that stuff, it was for other people. And it was because I had knowledge or an acumen, and I wanted people to get right information. And when I first started creating, it was for other people. And it was something to do. I recognized I was good at it. So I did it, and it just went well, and then shifted into teaching and got out of that. But the whole time I've always been doing the technical things in music, mixing, mastering, producing. And if you were to ask me that question maybe 5 years ago, it'd be a completely different answer. And so the reason I asked you that is because for me, what shifted is, yes, I have my company. We're doing the post-production for people and everything, but luckily I have employees, so they're doing that. And I'm not doing anything for anyone else anymore. So I'm kind of the opposite of you, John. I was doing things for other people, but now I'm doing it for me. Yeah. So I'm creating the music. Like I said, it's fun again. It was fun when I was 16 in my mom's basement, and then it blew up and it became work. But now it's fun again, because I'm enjoying making it. And it took me, I might have mentioned this, I've been looking for a singer for this project for 10 years. And just a stupid Facebook accidental interaction. She happened to be here in Toronto. And then, boom, fast forward a year, we have 10 songs. We're working on the second album now because I want to have a lot of songs done. And she's just perfect. She's exactly what I was looking for. And the relationship, as far as the way we write, she just brings it every time. And she's so talented, but she's been in the music industry been screwed, basically. And because of the way I've been in the music industry is completely different from her. She just mentioning the other day, it's like, you come from a totally different world. I'm like, yeah, we're going to do it this way and this way. So writing with her, when I get the songs back, I get emotional because it's so good. And I know it's good, not because it's me, just because it's good. And I can distinguish the two. And then now we perform every month, we have a residency. And every time we perform, the place is completely quiet. Like, you can see spellbound, and then people, because there's an emotional connection there. So when I'm writing this new music, it's for me, and I pick chords and chord changes and key changes that make me feel something. So then when people hear it, they feel, and it's for me. I don't even care if they feel or not. That's the thing. I don't care what people think, if they like it or don't, because it's for me, but they all love it because there's no pretension. I'm not trying anything. It's just, I have to express me, and it comes with self-awareness. So the more self-aware you are, art is an expression of who you are. But you have to know who you are because, what John was saying, he's trying to figure out life still, right? But once he figures out who he is, like for real, then, that's what art is, expressing yourself. So, and I have all these influences, and I know I have a God-given talent. So it's about me expressing myself, and I'm doing it for me. I'm not doing it for anyone else. And that's where the switch happened, where it was, oh my God, what are they going to think? Is this going to do well? Blah, blah, blah. This is for business. This is a career. I have to do what the record label says. Well, so that's the switch. So why do I do art? I do art to express who I am. And I know who I am now. Just under the wire, just turned 50. Just figured it out, I think.
Yeah, in fact, you mentioned, funny you mentioned that. John was just saying, I'm still trying to figure out, what would you say, figure out life or something?
Yeah, there's no time limit either. But.
Yeah, because when people ask me why I create, I always say, it's usually related to the podcast, because that's the only thing that is more significant that people pay attention to, newspaper and all that. So people ask me that question a lot. Why do I create the podcast, the Penang Hokkien podcast? And my goal is always to make the answer is to make the language cool again, because at one point it was not cool. It was looked upon as everybody spoke that language, educated or not. And if you are educated, you can speak English and Mandarin and different languages, but not Hokkien, because Hokkien is a common language. Everybody spoke that, so there's no status in that language. So in a way, people look down on it because, it's everybody can speak that, but not everybody can speak English or Mandarin. And so there's like a certain like lower class feel to that language. So at that time when I started the podcast, I wanted to make it cool again. And I started talking about this ever since the first day, because I remember I was telling my friends, I want to make Penang Hokkien cool again, because I know I can do it, because I felt the connection that we have as friends using the language together. Why can't other people do that? When it becomes a form, like a recorded form, somehow people felt like, ugh, cringy. I said, you cringe because you've never heard it before. You've never heard it packaged in a form where it sounded like it's coming out from radio. Now it's everywhere. Like I hear, like, a lot of influencers use Hokkien now. Not to say that I'm the one making it that way, but I'm part of the movement that made the language become cooler, because I started doing that again 20 years ago. I've been podcasting. The Penang Hokkien podcast is 19 years old. We're about to record episode 1,000. This, I can saying it wrong.
Wow.
1,000 this Saturday.
Wow.
A weekly podcast, Monday since 2005. Every Monday I release a new show, never miss, for 19 plus years. So
wow,
that's crazy. That's legacy, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
And here's the thing, yes, of course it's a big achievement, but two, I got to enjoy it. If not, I cannot sustain that long. The process, I have to enjoy it. The workflow, I have to be able to tolerate if I don't enjoy it. I need to make it. That's why it's live to drive. All my shows are like that since day one, because if I need to do editing, I would hate it. I would dread it. In fact, this episode 999, I recorded a bunch of video clips when I was in Penang, meeting up with my fans and some of them for the first time. Some I've spoken to for years.
Did you hear him slip that in, John Law? His fans?
Yeah, it's fans, Penang Hokkien fans now, yes. That. And so...
Well, he does have a big fan base in Malaysia.
That's cool.
That's
great.
You gotta follow him to come to Malaysia on one of his trips, and you'll see, the things that he does here is just crazy.
Well, anyway, so but to say that, I understand there's a following, but the main thing is it took me that long to realize that what I'm really good at is not the language preservation part. It just happens to fit. It's just the things that I create happens to be a useful tool to preserving the language. Really, what I'm creating is creating a space. And that's why we are all friends. Like I realize I don't think of them as like listener, for especially those that I've interacted with, because there are still listeners that I met in restaurants. Just this last time, a couple of times I went to a restaurant and they say hi to me and then take pictures with me, and I understand that's
cool,
like,
man.
oh yeah, it's like I call myself a micro celebrity because people recognize my voice. Even if they don't see me, they recognize my voice because for many years the podcast
I
is
get that
only
a lot.
audio.
I get that a lot.
Oh,
too.
really? Yeah. So when they meet me, I wish they would come see me more. They are sometimes I would get messages saying that I'm I'm one fan here. Is this
Who else?
Is this Alan? Is this Alan? Is that you? So people who are fans of the podcast sometimes don't dare to come up to talk to me. I know maybe sometimes for privacy or whatever.
Yes, it is Alan.
They would send me like a message. Hey, I saw you there in such and such place when I thought, should I come
was
say hi?
stalking you, but I didn't come up and say hi.
I wish they would, because it would make me feel really good.
It's more creepy if they're like.
It used to be creepy for me. It used to be creepy for me, but I can totally understand, because like sometimes when I see singers then that I like and adore in public, I don't want to go talk to them because I feel like I'm interrupting their private life. If it is like a concert, for instance, I go to Sheila Majid's concert, I'll go up there and meet with her. That's fine, right? Because she's out there doing it as the persona Sheila Majid, not like a person, right? So I understand the reservation, but I enjoy it because I see the numbers, but I don't see the faces. Right, I know that there, a few thousands of people listen to the podcast every time I release it, but I cannot put a face. But those who join the show as a guest and talk about or like join the conversation, that becomes like real, like a person now. Okay, so sorry, I was distracted by
No, he said that it is Alan. Yeah.
John's new glasses are cool.
Yeah,
Thank
I was going
you.
to comment on that too. I noticed the new glasses.
I just wanted to say how much of disturbance that you might or don't mind being a celebrity is how popular you are. If you're a minor celebrity, if people come up to you and say hi, and we'll be like, "Oh, that's nice. Let's take photo." And then
it's nice. I like it.
It's
yes.
very, very welcome. But when you are so
big.
So big, everybody recognizes you, it becomes tiresome. It becomes like it's gonna be a chore. You're entering my private space. Why can't you just leave me alone? So I'm
never going to be that.
Progression of that.
I mean, I don't think I've ever become that big. So please keep coming if you're Penang Hokkien listeners.
I had an interesting conversation about this very topic last night after I finished performing at the show about celebrities and because,
things that come with like a famous people.
Well, yeah, because I ran security here. I've been around a lot of celebrities, especially in the music industry. I've worked with a bunch of the top ones, and the singer in my group, her husband does 3D scanning. He has his own company, so he's worked on every major movie. He's met all the stars. So, and he has relationship because they have to come in, and some of them, they have to take all their clothes, and he has to scan them all, and he's talking to a lot of them. So we were talking about this very thing about there's nice celebrities and then there's not so nice celebrities. And for me, it's just the bigger celebrity, the nicer they are. And it depends on the context, like you guys were saying.
Yeah.
So because we have TIFF here this week, right? Because I went to a couple parties too. So it's just everybody's walking around looking for celebrities. So John, if you just came here and put on some sunglasses and walk around, people would think even if they didn't know who you were, they would think you were someone, right? Like, can I take a picture with you? Or they'd be like BTS or who? They wouldn't know. They just think you're someone. And we were just talking about context, and you're right. All my interactions, his interactions, the biggest celebrities, it's like they want to talk about gardening. They want to talk about something else. And they can go into star mode. When they get out of the limo, it's like, okay, I'm in star mode. But when you're walking down the street with your dog or your partner, you don't want to be in that mode. And we had some actual paparazzi outside the club because they were following somebody. And I was talking to one of the security guys, and it's just, you can tell it's like, I'll wrap up here. When you have celebrities, they're like in the wild, and when they hear the sound of a camera shutter, it's just like they know that sound is, and I don't know if you've been around paparazzi or a big, it's kind of scary when you hear about 50 of them going all at the same time. It's really
It's very
scary.
unnatural. Yeah, it is scary. It's
And
very
they literally
unnatural.
hide in bushes. Yeah, the paparazzi.
So, but yeah, so John, because I think I went all around trying to say that it took me that long, like 20 years, to figure out, hey, it's actually creating spaces that I am creating. When I create, most of the stuff is creating a space. And even as I'm thinking about the singing, right? I started off most of my life. I perform here and there, but in very small scale, not professionally, or like not professionally as in I don't make a lot of money out of it. Occasionally people, at one point I was doing a lot of more gigs in wedding ceremonies, but then that stopped after the pandemic and I never really continue going back to it. So I don't perform professionally, but I love singing and I actually love performing. Frankly, I love interacting with audience, and that's why I find doing live singing is actually like an in-between really performing live in person, except I can do it in the comfort of my own, downstairs basement. I don't have to go
I need
somewhere.
more content, John. I only got the one Sheila Majid video. Like, how many times can I watch the same video? I need new content.
No, I started to
It's a
post
good
it on
video.
my personal. I started posting. Oh, that's John's made it good. John made it good.
Yeah, okay.
But I start. I am working up, trying to sing on sing live. So TikTok is what I'm working on now, because you have to have like 1,000 followers to be able to live stream. So I'm working on that, and I did once on Instagram live the other day, and I'm starting to post. And because I did it through Ecamm, I publish live to my Instagram account through Ecamm. And when I set up my Ecamm, I set it up to record. So then I realized after the live stream, I was like, I have all this recorded video of me singing. So I start to cut up clips to post it on TikTok. Not again, don't. I'm not like trying to be famous or anything. I'm just doing this as a learning process and also creation. When you create, oftentimes when you create for yourself, it is really nice. I don't care if 5 people are listening. I want to hit that 1,000 people so that I can go live. Not because I want 1,000 people listening to me, I wouldn't mind it. But John, as you create as your job. You are a professional wedding photographer and event, like you shoot for events and all that. So every job is creating something for you. Capturing a picture is creating, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it boils down to essentially what I'm drawn to in life in terms of like my personal interests, because I think early on I have a knack of like being a geek. I talk to computer better than talking to people. So so technology is one of those things that really I've got a big interest in it, like learning how to use certain things. And therefore that's why on my desk right here, I've got enough gadgets that I don't need. Like I'm saying the Rodecaster Pro 2 that I have is like overkill, but I love it, right? But essentially there's also part of me that I think I'm visually drawn to a lot of things, and that's how I naturally pick up photography. I didn't learn photography growing up in terms of like my family. We are just not exposed to it. It's just that eventually, I just got drawn into it. So when it comes to photography, it's like cameras and it's gadgets, and it's a perfect mix for me, right? So essentially, I think that actually helped me in terms of like creating to do what I'm doing, like works of like this kind of stuff. when I go out and shoot for people. It's not because, I like to photograph people. It's just that I like to make nice things, you know. So I have like all these kind of photos done up
But you're
in my
capturing not
line of
only
work.
aesthetically pleasing, it captures a moment.
Well, I think it's byproduct of me being out there and actually doing it. I think one of the philosophy when it comes to my photography is like, if you're out there having a camera, you will capture something good, no matter what.
Well, I
It's
think you're
it's the
you're
act
being
of actually being out
you're
there.
being too modest. I think you can have somebody go out there and try to shoot all day and not being able to capture a moment. I do understand sometimes capturing one moment takes a little bit, like you got to go through a lot of photos to find a few good moments but sometimes there are just people who does not have that talent. So I think there's something there.
Yeah, it's
It's
just like being in being a producer in the studio. It's the same thing. One big producer, I'm not going to name drop, but he told me my only job is to capture the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And the best producers, we have to create an environment, a relaxed environment, so then the muse can come in and the singer, and then we got to hit record. Always be recording. And I see that analogy, John, with taking pictures, especially with the wedding. Everyone's always, they have this idealistic, because everyone's going to see these pictures. They have to be perfect. And I used to be a wedding DJ, so I'd be seeing the photographers, and the best ones, they were hardly even there. And they were just making the couple be so relaxed. And then, by the way, they'd just be like, it's like they weren't. The hard thing, I guess, is get them not to pose.
Yeah, not yeah. Post
Right,
for the
so
photo.
just-
Yeah, exactly.
Just be, just, oh, yeah, oh, we're done. What? But I wasn't, yeah, and those are the best. Same thing in the studio. It's just like when they're jamming and it's like, okay, well, we recorded that, really? And then that becomes a song.
Mm-hmm.
I see the same analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, yeah, I guess I just like pretty stuff. I'm
Yeah.
quite a visual person. Like, for instance, don't try to describe to me something gruesome. Don't try to show me.
I know.
That's why I hate watching Saw and all those kind of things, because it burns into me. And when you describe it, I can sort of like visualize it. I make pictures in my head, and that's
We had
actually
that-
not very good.
We had that conversation. You remember, John? We were talking about like pimple popping.
Yeah, ew.
You can't look away. Like, you gotta look, but you can't look away.
But then
And
it sticks with
the
him.
worst thing is I'm starting
Yeah,
to build
yeah.
those imagery in my head, right? So
Oh, well, you can get rid of it, but I love what you said, John, and somebody told me this a long time ago, especially with DJing, being on the radio, but just making music, and I think it's the same with you. I get paid for my taste.
mm,
So you're
Mhm.
getting paid for your taste. And
Yeah.
people, when they see the picture, because your taste, your identity, who you are, when you see something, you're like, yeah, I like that maroon, not too dark, little bit red, but just so. And it's like, yeah, that's my taste right there.
And because it
Ah.
comes instinctively for you,
mhm.
it sometimes make us who bring certain something to the table, because it comes almost naturally, that you think I'm sure everybody does that, but it does not, right? So, and that's why people pay for you to do what you do, because there is value that other people cannot get. Even sometimes with lots of training, you may not, I mean, with some training, you can get some, but some people just innately, like you said, you never go to school and learn it per se, but you have the eye, and then you have the curiosity to learn your tools. Then you know your tools well to create your craft, and therefore you're good. Or at least
And how long have you been
stand out.
doing it, John? How long have you been taking
Well,
pictures?
the past 15, 16, 17 years of my life, I lost count.
Right.
Well,
and-
thank you
and-
for describing a lot better than I can, you guys. That's very kind of y'all.
Well, I've been doing this for 2 decades, and I saw a post somewhere, and it's like, somebody gives me something, it'll take me maybe half an hour or an hour to do it. And it's probably the same with you. But you're not paying me for the hour. You're paying me for the 2 decades of doing it. So you're getting paid for the 15 years of tweaking and learning and developing your taste, even though you can do it quicker and better than most people. It's getting paid for the lead up to that, for your taste.
That's great. That's really good to think that way. I believe that, but tell that to the paying customer.
Yeah, they
it's
just
a
want
different story
good deals.
altogether.
It takes discipline though, man. You got to dig in, because once you dig in and you get to a certain threshold, then people won't even operate that way. They'll say, John, I need you to do this. Send me an invoice.
Yeah,
that's the conversation, not haggling how much. Can you give me a deal? It's, I need you to do this. Send me an invoice.
That's very true.
The other part about the part why I'm creating is when you said, when I told you guys that, I'm that gadget guy, I love all this tech and everything, and I've got to find a way to actually use them. Like like having whatever that I have right now over here, it's kind of cool, because like, hey, what's use of not knowing how to do all these things and not showcasing it, and then at the same time, like, doing all these shows will allow me to actually use the Stream Deck and changing things like this to like, showing you my drone shots and stuff like that. but you never see me actually have a proper show, because at the end of the day, I've got nothing to talk about.
But and you mentioned that a lot, actually. I remember you said, like, you know how to produce a show, but you struggle with the content of the show. I think you always
the
mention
content
that.
of it.
But the thing is, like, playing with things that interest you does not need to always have to have a final product, I think. Like that playfulness and the and you're creating, right? You're creating a setup. Even though you don't have a use for it, I think it's for creative people, that's a good, then you have an outlet. I think the worst thing for creative people is you cannot get to create anything you want. So if you don't get to do this, you have to go in, I shouldn't say, like a profession that you don't like. Like
a 9 to 5.
Yeah, like a 9 to 5 job or something.
Here's an analogy, John, both Johns. So I'm very much similar, and I'm lucky I have the means I can do this. So I see a new audio or tech thing, I'm like, and John knows, both of you know this too. I was like, okay, yeah, I got to get that, I got to get that, I got to get that. And I have how many mixers? I have the Zoom, I have the Mackie, I have the DLZ over there, but I have all this equipment in my studio too. And it's like John was saying, it's doing all this. But it's taken me that long to kind of use it all and then put it away and go, okay, I only need this thing, and I'm blazing fast with these things because I used the other things and realized they weren't as good. So it's actually a process of auditioning things, and I have an entire room of stuff, and I'm like, do I sell these mixers? Maybe I need them, whatever. But for me, it was going through all the tech, and I did have a drone phase as well. It was going through all the tech and then going, yeah, like my studio, I just redid it again, but it is so minimal. It is so zen now. It's just like there's so much space here. I have one iPad instead of 4 now. I have 2 screens, and I just have so much room. And I told you I'm making a song a day because it took me all that time to have all this stuff and tweak and then go, take it away. And now this is it. For this iteration, but
I'm loving
do a
this
studio
conversation.
tour or something.
Yeah, studio tour.
Yeah,
you gotta do a studio tour sometime.
I know that's what John loves, because for the longest time I did not show. You've seen it now, John. Like my space, I still think it's cool one of these days for me to do the tour of my space, because it's very different. It's very different from what you're seeing here. It's very different. Great conversation. I do want to answer some questions that was posted.
Let's get on topic.
I love it. I love the conversation. I think it's great. I'm gonna name. I tried to title this episode, but I'm gonna change the title because the conversation we have, like why we create. Think it's really cool to hear. This question from Ernesto: some people use OBS, some people use Ecamm, and some vMix. Is Ecamm my preferred choice? Okay, for me personally, and then John can have a different answer, and I know Sean will have a different answer too. I never use vMix because I'm not a Windows user. Because as far as I understand, vMix is only for Windows. vMix is almost like the Ecamm for Mac. And I did not want to use Ecamm for the longest time because it costs money. And I was using OBS because I'm cheap. I know, and I learned, I forced myself to learn the software, and I went live with it before I even know more than 40%, 20% of it. And I make a lot of mistakes. But one thing good about me is I don't care about making mistakes. So I'll just go and I'll do it. So I use OBS for years. I was trying to count. I'm going to count. Maybe next week I'll figure. I have to go back to my live stream to check and see what were my shows that was using OBS and when I switched. I switched recently. I've been toying with the idea for like maybe beginning of this year or end of last year to switch to a different streaming software. Our friend Charles, who comes on this show occasionally in the earlier days, he was shocked that I got Ecamm because for many years he's been laughing at me how I do my scene switching from this to this. You know how hard it is? I have to go, because I do a screen capture on OBS on the window of my Google Meet. And because Google Meet is free for me, because I already have the Google Office Workspace subscription. And so I would capture that window. So in order to switch to me, it's easier to switch, but trying to switch to like a one person of say me and then like this. That's hard. So I have to switch to highlight Sean and me together. And if I want to do all three of us together, it'll be a little bit different. Like I would have to then change it inside of Google Meet for the layout to change.
You often see his mouse moving on the live broadcast, trying to select things.
Wow. Yeah, that's funny.
That is very true.
Now you don't see any mouse cursors on your screens, don't you not?
And it's really not even that, right? I was like, it's fine. You can talk. Like, again, some people say it's the content. So it's fine. But the experience for my listeners are getting worse because I want them to, when they join as a guest, I want their experience to be better. And when I do that kind of stuff, I have to tell them, you can't do that. Your sound, blah, blah, blah. I have to like give them a lot of instructions. And so when I start changing is when John was suggesting Video Ninja. So using Video Ninja I was like, oh, this is it. Because using Video Ninja, you can then do what I wanted to do for a better production. And when I say for my listeners, it's for both people who are watching the show as well as joining the show. So using it's vdo.ninja, right? The website.
That's right.
Show. So video.ninja. So it's a web-based, essentially, camera switcher program thing. It's also free. And so I tried it. The user experience for my listeners were horrible. They cannot really pay attention to the conversation because, I couldn't pay attention. They couldn't pay attention because the browser keeps crashing because it's web-based. And if they switch camera, the thing would go black and then it would disconnect. So I had to look for a better alternative. And finally, I decided maybe now it's the time for my sanity. Because as the more you do shows like mine, the more you wanted to do, like you wanted to implement this, like a down camera and all that. And the more you wanted to do when the software is not as user-friendly, I'm not saying it's bad. It's actually really good. It's just that for me, I cannot wrap my brain around producing it and generating the content, and trying to do the show would be too horribly difficult if I'm using OBS. Because Ecamm has made it so easy for me to switch scenes. I can preset up things, do things like bring comments in and all that. It's so easy for me that I'm able to do it without taxing too much of my CPU, and so my brain CPU, and therefore I'm able to still carry on a conversation that makes sense. Except for the first few shows were horrible. You go back there, I'm like, actually, 2 weeks ago, go watch 2 weeks ago after my vacation. I completely forgot how to do everything. But that's why I decided on Ecamm. I really like it, and I'm all in. Like I said, I'm going to their creator camp this October, and therefore there's like one of the weeks where the creator camp is going on. I won't be able to do this the live stream, but it will just be 1 week. October 15th is when I can't do it. But that's why I picked Ecamm. Will I change my mind in the future? Potentially. But if currently I'm all in. At least I have 1 year subscription. But I'm loving it. I'm loving the community as well, and the coder, the founder of the company, two twin brothers, Ken and Glenn. They both listen to the creators because they themselves are not streamers. They themselves are the programmers, and so they started with an idea just to go live, and the original idea was to go live on Facebook because that was like a new thing. So they started doing that, and then when they put the software out there, people would start using it, and then they started to take input from the user base, and that's why there's that creator camp going on, is to like directly connect with the creators of the app with content creators like us. So I'm looking forward to it, but that is why I go with Ecamm for now at least. But in the near future, it's going to be that way. And then I'll come back to you, Sean and John. But I want to quickly talk about my glasses. The reason why I switched back to this pair of glasses, it's a new pair. But you see how thin the side is? So it's really thin. You can't even see. Wait, let me switch to my other pair because I can't see. It's so thin. So I'm going to switch to my other new pair. This is also new, but this is the other pair, and you see how thin the side is compared to like this is, I have many pair of glasses, so compared to this. And the reason why I'm testing it tonight is because when I don't know what this part of the glasses is called, the arms of the glasses,
yeah,
the back, especially where there's like the plastic rest for your ear to make it more comfortable, that part is rubbing against the sponge of the cups of my headphones. And when I'm very expressive, right? When I do this, it moves my glasses, and there's like a squeakiness. I don't know if you can hear.
So you have streaming glasses. So here I only have one pair. These are the Oakleys, and they're very expensive. And I don't even know, like, I don't stream as much as John, obviously, but I don't need them when I'm this close to the camera.
You also don't wear over ear headphones.
Well, that's the other thing I changed. Yeah. So John, you have a pair of these. Just start using them for streaming.
Oh my gosh, I'm out of focus. Hang on, let me turn and then come back. I need the new camera. There you go.
You gotta lock in your focus, man. See, nothing.
The reason. What was your question? You were asking me about.
I don't stream as much as you, but you have streaming lab, but in-ears. Why are you?
Oh, in-ears. Yes.
Yeah.
I use in-ears for my podcast because I want this to be transparent. I feel like it's like casual conversation. For years, I have my headphones and it's fine, but I want to make sure the audio is good. So I would wear in-ears. I have my in-ears. I have my custom in-ears, very expensive custom in-ears. But I enjoy using them for my podcast, this is more comfortable or like easier to put on. Like, you know, I don't have to like manage my
just
cable.
put them
and all that.
in. I'm at a loss. 'Cause
I-
I just put mine in.
I'm,
It's
I
not
know.
a big deal.
You know, it's for the sponsorship. So eventually, hopefully, they will see this and they'll send you more.
No,
of these
he'll get
texts.
sponsors for the in-ears. That's way more money.
But they can't see it on camera.
Well, I can just
You know,
say
we were just
64
talking
audio.
about
64
that.
audio.
So, but I mean, yeah, any 64 audio.
Just
any,
put them
any
on.
in-ear.
They're sitting there. You're not using.
I use it for my podcast. I don't use it for these shows.
Why not? I still
don't
don't
know
know
why.
why you wouldn't use it.
This is maybe because
Just put them on right now. Let's just see. Just put them on. Come on.
putting them
Do
on right
you,
now.
yeah. Do you need to?
All right, if you can't put it on like in the next 10 seconds, yeah, it's tough to put on. See, count.
I know,
1, 2,
right
3,
there.
4,
There.
5.
Okay,
That's-
but how busy? Like, what? Why is there a time constraint? You just put it on once
Because I need
and
to
you're
go
good.
to the loo and then I'll just take it off and then sayonara.
No, I can do that too. But maybe I just need a better system.
I can't hear you guys.
I just need a better system because right now it's connecting. It's just connecting.
Well, I have to
loosely.
tell you though, with mine, I have an extension cord so I can move around.
I also have an extension cord.
Yeah.
It's just not. I need to get something where I can clip on my pants or something. Right now, I just tuck it in between my elastic band so that it would stay on, and then do this. I don't know. Maybe. Okay, so I can't hear you. You guys talk amongst yourself.
Okay, so we're talking amongst ourselves. Like, look, we can see the hair now, John Lowe. We can see the whole profile. It's like he doesn't look like Princess Leia, right? And see, he's fixing the hair now, and it's just like, oh, there we go. There's a full profile now, and there's no over. No
Okay, maybe you
headphone.
convinced me. But
Yeah, see, look, you got the hair, everything now. I
Let me
mean,
tuck away
any of the 6 pairs of glasses you have now will work.
I have full drawer. I probably have like 50 pairs. So
Look at that.
it's better.
Look at
Okay,
that.
so
That looks so
I'm
much
not
better.
supporting these guys. I'm not supporting.
Well, now
these.
you're
You guys
the
making
only
me
one.
FOMO. Yeah, exactly.
you're FOMO.
no,
Exactly.
you have a pair of in-ears. You have a pair.
Yeah, I
Maybe
do.
not custom,
even
but you have
earbuds
pairs.
will work, but
Yeah.
Oh, wait, but here's the thing. I don't know if. Okay, I think I know the reason. I'll tell you why. When I do audio support for people, I always use my my
Hands.
my DT770. I can hear. I forgot what that term is called. You'll know, like the when you hear the rumble of your own voice through your bones. The what is that term called? Like
it's a resonant.
yeah,
resonant
the
frequency of your-
vibration of your own voice. That is more prominent, like through because
yeah,
obviously it's in my ear canal, right? So the vibration of my voice. So I'm afraid it's going to affect when I'm trying to troubleshoot audio issues for other people.
Well, no, it's the opposite, man. Once I started using these, I'm hearing stuff that they're not even hearing. Like it's basically the difference between a magnifying glass and like not using anything. So if
maybe
you're
I'll
helping
try.
people if you're helping people with audio, you're gonna hear things like way quicker.
But maybe because yours is better than mine.
Well, I don't know. But, I mean, mine.
But
are,
mine is custom. You
mine-
can see my name on there.
No, mine are custom too. I didn't get anything personal, but I have 18 drivers in each ear.
I don't know. Maybe I don't have that many drivers. But I do this for my podcast because suddenly it changes, and I thought when you wear headphones, you're talking about audio. It makes sense, so it's perfectly fine. But
Well,
maybe
I get the opposite because
I'll give it a try.
It's funny. I guess John Lowe could relate to this as far as visually, like how much of his life he spent in front of a monitor editing or with a mouse, and the amount of my life I've spent in front of a computer with headphones on is got to be near 80%,
That's true for me also.
right?
Because when I edit with headphones most of the time.
Yeah, and now that I've switched to just using these, it is a bit of a pain to like put them on, but once I'm kind of locked in, I just plug in, and if I need to go somewhere or whatever, I just unplug and I still have them with me. But yeah, that as opposed to what John Lo said, just take them off. But as far as audio quality and being able to help people, but that solves your glass problem. But I know for me, having them on, it's just like because it's so long, it's like I got to take them off, and then I'm like, where are the headphones? Oh, they're right here. And these are the ones I have like 2 pairs of these 7506s, right?
Wait, let me switch to you.
But I tell you what, it does put some sort of optics in terms of when you do a call. Like whenever I have a client call, my clients are usually bride and groom to be, and when they look at my setup over here, they compliment me like, "Oh, you have a proper setup and everything." But it does take away from the conversation of me trying to sell them the photography services and everything. But they will start saying, "Oh, you have like cancer." When you don't have a mic like this visually in front of a camera, the conversation is a lot more smoother.
Casual.
You don't go to that route. So I guess the optics does sell in terms of what we are trying to project.
Yeah.
So if I were to say talking to my customer, maybe I'll just use my overhead microphone, and then I use earbuds, and you don't see the cans. So that gives a different kind of perspective.
Well, unless you're like talking to somebody who's talking about like a editing project that you wanted to do, maybe looking at all your gears would convey a completely different signal.
Yeah. So maybe for Soundcheck, having the cans.
That's why I was thinking.
Different kind
Sean,
of...
that's what I was thinking. That's why I kept it here. But maybe I'll switch it around. I don't know. I need to be able to wear these.
John, don't fool yourself. You know how much better it looks with these on. You're just trying to make John Lo feel better now.
Sometimes my hair is like not done, and when I wear my headphones, nobody will know.
Well, see, that's the ultimate. He's gonna wear the in-ears for the sound, and then just put those over for the
hair to hide the hair. Did you see that comment from Alan? He's like, John is FOMO. John, now look for sponsors.
Well, I think everybody knows that guys have 2 hairstyles, right? Hat and non-hat.
Actually, I don't wear hat. I never wear
hat because my head shape. My logo.
My head shape was so horrible on the back that I cannot wear any hat. Even though I don't see.
What about even one of these? Because the back of your head doesn't matter.
Worse.
It's just round. It just goes on.
No, on the back it looks like really flat. Like I don't have.
Who cares? How?
Well, I know,
okay, explain to me. How have you seen the back of your head to know this?
I know it's bad, so I'm very self-conscious about it.
No, but how have you seen the back of your head to know?
I've seen photos of me in hats, so I don't like it. But anyway, what a fun conversation we are having. Hey, but I know maybe we can quickly talk about it. We don't have to delve too deeply into it. But today I learned about it. I don't know when they released it, but there are 2 microphones from Shure. SM4, which is a condenser microphone, last week, and then
last week the MV6 was last week, and I this is the first time I'm seeing the SM4. So.
Okay. So these 2 new microphones, MV6, which is a dynamic mic, and then the SM4 is a condenser mic, entry level, I'd imagine, like MV6.
Well, the price is not entry level.
Well, for the condenser for the MV6 it is. That is $149. Yeah.
So what is the price of an MV7 Plus these days? Let me look.
Double that.
Oh, okay.
Well,
It's
for me in
gonna
Canada it's 300 Canadian, so maybe $100 more American, I guess.
Microphones. Let me see if I can open a new window, and then we'll go.
We have the representation from Malaysia. Let's go shopping. Sure, MV7.
V7 Plus. DB. 280. So 280 versus
$100. 150.
something. Yeah, it's
So this, and it was funny when I was looking at the MV6 and I was thinking, I'm like, I'm not even, I mean, am I even going to bother recommending the Q2U or the Audio Technica now? No, it's going to be this. It's going to be, which Shure MV do you want? Here are the price points. Just get one of these Shure MVs.
Is it because of the software that comes with it too?
So the new MV6, there's a couple of different things, and we saw this with Rode because the newer thing had stuff in it, even though it wasn't as robust. Like the Duo had stuff in it. The newer versions would have tweaks that the other one wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So with this, first of all, it's only USB. So when you look at the back, there's no XLR, and it comes with the MV, because everyone like me was buying the 6 and getting the SM7B windscreen. So now it actually has pretty much that on it. And then the new software is amazing because it you can do everything in there and it locks it in, but it's got a plosive popper in the software too, which is probably just a high pass filter, but they're calling it a plosive popper. But then the automatic gain is really good. Like I saw some people testing it where, they would go back and this.
Oh, and it'll auto
happen.
gain, like it'll.
This wouldn't happen. It would still be the same level. We'll be doing auto gain. And for anyone starting out now, this is my first recommendation. Like I'm not even bothering with the AT or the Q2U. I'm sending them right to this.
Because really?
It's
What is
it's
but it's so
easy.
cheap though. The other one's much cheaper, right? 70.
Well, Q2U's is what? Is $50 cheap? Oh, is it 80? Okay.
I think it's wait, let me see.
You know
what
what?
is the software called? The software that we're looking at is it's
It's a motive
something it's still on
Yeah, I think they changed it though. Go back to the mic, back to the
one,
window
Motive
you were,
Mix.
and when you scroll there it is. Yeah, that's it. Motive Mix.
Motive Mix.
And the cool thing about that is it basically works for your whole computer. So any inputs you can move around and do all that.
Including software. Like you
It's
can pull
basically
software.
loop back.
Yeah.
This is loop back on your computer. And then you can pick a Shure mic, and then it'll you can tweak all the EQ, compression, everything, all the settings.
I'm seeing a
and just put it
trend
on auto.
here. Rode and Shure microphone companies are spending a lot of effort in
to
their
dumb things
software.
down. Yeah, and they're trying to make it like turnkey, where it's just like, okay, here's the MV6. You can go in and tweak and get it. But no, here's the new MV where it's just plug it in. There's only one button, which is just mute or unmute.
The green
And much
one.
like Rode, this mic, they've branded it for gaming.
Yeah.
But it's for podcasting too. But
yeah.
and it's really it's built well. It's built like Shure, and you have the stand, and it comes with a stand and everything, and then you can just use any arm as well. And you see, that's basic. I think it's basically an MV6 meets an SM7B as far as the guts and the ease of use and everything like that. Like I said, I'm not even going to bother. For somebody who's saying it's $80 versus $150, and I want to start a podcast, I'm like, if that's going to break the bank, I'm like, are you really serious? I mean, I'm not going to argue with somebody. It's like, okay, hey, if you want to get the Q2U, you can. You want to get the Audio Technica, you can, but I would just get that one. So now it's just a matter of which MV7 do I recommend once this has come out. And if you could go back to the condenser, I'm not once you're done there, because I haven't heard of. I didn't know SM4. Yeah, I didn't know about it.
I don't know much about it, but I have to say
just scroll up a bit so I can read the overview paragraph there. Capture.
I was watching a show.
Oh, it's got that's really good.
RF
that it has
noise.
Yeah,
I'm interested with the shielding technology.
Yeah, that's really good. And then the internal pop filter, it's the same thing. And the internal pop filter is just moving the capsule. And it's a condenser, yeah, because they have really good condensers. So if you're looking, obviously this is studio home recording. You don't want to use a condenser for.
I wanted to show you
podcast.
This is the podcast I was listening to earlier. but it's a
that's the
show
guy
produced.
I saw who was reviewing it, and then she works for Shure.
Yes,
I'm not sure
Laura.
who the person on the
The guy
Katie
on
is.
the right, Katie is the marketing director of Geekcam. So
Oh, okay. Because I know Laura, and I've seen Doc before, but I know Laura.
so I think I'm gonna get to meet all three of them at the
At the Ecamm. Cool.
at the Ecamm thing.
Dude, you gotta be nice to Laura. She'll give you she gives away free shit. She really does. She's cool.
But she's really I mean she works for Shure. She's really good at explaining the technology, but in a not intimidating way, like for people
like I said, that's the trend with Rode. They're trying to dumb things down to like, hey, you want to start, just go. And Shure is kind of following that lead. And then you look at Mackie with the DLZ, it's the same thing. There's easy mode, moderate mode, pro mode. So they want to just out of the box, turn the key, boom, you go. You can see that with all the companies now.
I'm going to put the link in the chat for you all.
Go ahead, John. With the hat. See? Now John Ong has no hat.
I have no
So
hat.
can I just say that John Ong, just push your microphone more towards the center of your frame.
Wait, do you want me like
yeah, all three of us. Laura, if you're watching this, wouldn't it be nice if it's all Shure, the new one, the SM4 or the what's the other one?
I don't want the MV4, but it's good.
John Ong,
MV6,
John Lowe's trying to get a sponsor. He wants you to use this clip, so when you meet her, you can say, "Hey, look."
You can send me to test it.
So this,
but then we can give them away.
SM7B.
Yeah.
It's a Shure 7.
Me too.
But okay, so I do have to say now you have both of you have MV7s.
This is a 6 with the MV7 screen, but the reason it sounds like one is I'm going through the DVX.
Wait, are you using MV? No, because that's not.
This is a 6. It's not an SM7B.
No, this is the MV7.
It's an MV7.
Not MV6, not the new one. Because the new one, the capsule is different. So when you watch
it's like an
you
SM7B.
Can hear it. It's warmer. The MV7
it sounds like the
sounds
SM7B.
a lot closer to the SM7B. But again, as a starter microphone, they were talking about how if you wanted to have a show and if you wanted your co-host to have good audio, you can buy them like $150 microphone and just have them keep it there, their location.
And it's USB. Just plug it in.
Especially and with the software, the noise cancellation thing works really well. So I think there's a space for I think there's like an emerging market for people. Remember previously it was like USB microphones, like the snowball days, like starting a podcast, like the blue microphones and all that. And then we have all this XLR microphones and then the hybrid. Now the
other way.
Now it's like going back, if you rely on the software to do a lot of the heavy lifting on your computer,
you can bring the price
don't
down.
Need the other thing. You can bring the price down, and if you want to, there's still a market for it, like the MV7 Plus, obviously, right? It's because that one has an XLR.
I have the dual, so I got the very first one, so it's got the XLR and the.
I think that goes both ways. There's one that is just the USB-C, and there's one that's just XLR, the MV7.
Well, they've
right.
covered they covered all the holes, so they
because they are a microphone company, they need to
so they're hitting every one of their models. It's like, hey, which one can you do? They don't have an $80 one yet. Maybe they
never will. I think because of the standards of Shure, I don't think they're going to put a Samsung Q2U quality. When I say quality, I'm not only talking about the audio quality.
Well, they have that adapter too. They sell, so you can just put it on any mic.
That USB, the XLR to USB thing.
Yeah,
I forgot what it's called. They mentioned it. They mentioned it on the show today.
Oh yeah, of course.
Connectors.
Yes. So you can just put that on anything.
Something like something to you, X2U or something X2U, because I remember it's like for XLR2 USB.
Yes, you'll have to find it there, but yeah. So and then it has a little volume control and phantom power on it.
X2U, this one.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, discontinue. So I think I there's a new
There
one.
I think the
There's
first
this
one when you typed it in.
Yeah, MVX2U.
Yeah, that's a new one. Yeah, there you go.
So
That's the price of a new microphone that's USB.
right, but if you have an existing XLR microphone laying around,
If
and
you have
wanna
the
use it on a
SM7B,
computer-
right?
And what I also like about the MV6 is that it has, I have headphones monitoring. Obviously, that's crucial.
Mm.
Yeah, but anyway, you can send them to me and then we'll test it out. No, I mean, if it happens, great. But I just find it very interesting seeing that trend of software plus hardware microphones, and they're good quality. They're not like, cheap.
Well, as somebody who does post-production for podcasts, this is great. It's going to make my turnaround time. If people listen to me, like even if they get this microphone and they sit in a room full of glass and mirrors, there's only so much I can do.
Actually, in fact, I forgot what it's called now. I think I have it written down here. I was having, Ecamm's like great with their, what is it? Their community support, So there is and by the way, if you want to use Ecamm, you should please use my affiliate link because it's linked to me. So if you buy it, like for instance, I was checking out. Remember that guy? I don't know if you remember or not, Sean. There was a guy that came in and asked about Ecamm at the earlier days when I first started this Soundcheck or Roadcaster User Meetup. I think he's Big Nick. He has the Big Nick show or something, the podcast. I went back. He was so happy with having. He doesn't do a whole lot, but his setup is so much easier for him. The look somewhat similar, but he is so at ease, right? So that changes his whole thing. Like he's not like stressed trying to like run his software. But anyway. And his show sounds good too. But this...
Well, like my one client, remember I was asking you, I set up her Rodecaster Duo for her, and then I told her, I go, well, just get this mini SD, micro SD. And I took her through, I sent her the link and everything. And then she's like, yeah, I plugged it in and it worked right away. And I just exported and I saved everything, worked perfectly. I'm like, and I could see now, like, she just turns on the Duo, doesn't have to do anything. Everything's already hooked up and she just goes. And I could hear it in her voice, like you were saying, oh, okay, I can actually just
focus on the content.
Do this now. Yeah.
I was going to tell you something and I forgot what it was. I mean, I know what I was going to talk about. There is a software, is it called Crisp or Crispy something? It's like a noise cancellation.
Yeah, that's been around for a while. I used it for a bit, but
what's it called? Is it called Crisp something?
I can't remember the name of it.
Something
but it's
AI.
It's
Crisp.
It's a website.
AI.
Oh, okay, that might be a new one.
Is it?
Yeah. This has been around for a while. I think it's the one I.
No, not this one. It's like a noise cancellation. Oh yeah, maybe
there's a one for Macs, and it's a plugin, and you like put it on your mic. But it's been around for a couple of years.
Yeah, it's a paid service. And I'm seeing it sounds pretty good. Obviously you got to start the tackle the issue from where the source of the problem was.
If you have a really loud fan, then it clamps down and it makes it even sound worse. You're absolutely right. It's like fix your room and then you don't even need
Is it? I don't know if it's this or not. Noise free, not meeting. It's not the meetings. Maybe it is.
Yeah, there's this or there's a similar one, but I advise all my clients just to let's fix your problem. Or if I'm doing the post-production, I know how bad their sound can be before I can't do anything. So for me, it's more about comfort. And here's the thing about Zoom, right? Everyone's just comfortable with Zoom. I'm trying to push them to Riverside for the sound and the video quality, but Zoom's become a verb for a video meeting, right? So
I'm going to Zoom you with Google Meet.
Yeah, exactly. And Google Meet's the ugly stepchild, right? It's like, oh my God, you're using Google Meet? What's wrong
I
with
know
you?
people laughed at me when I said I use Google Meet for my podcast.
Well, for my company, my default was Google Meet because, again, I have Workspace as
Yeah,
well, like
yeah.
you do, and then I transmit in HD and blah, blah, blah. But people are so comfortable. A lot of my clients now who are doing like sound healing and sound bath, where I consult with them, and they're doing meetings over Zoom. So I have to meet with them on Zoom to tweak the sound on Zoom because that's what they want to do. And it's like, okay, everyone's just comfortable, familiar with it. Zoom isn't 10 out of 10 quality, but we can get it, 7.5, 8, as good as it needs to be.
Yeah.
And that's what you were mentioning there is just, I know, okay, if you give me a 7.5 or an 8 audio quality from Zoom, I know exactly what to do to get it to 10, and let's just move on. Let's not just it's not about complications, it's about let's get the ease for the client. So if they know Zoom, they go, okay, I'm going to record. I'll just send you the link. I'm like, cool. Right. And I stop going, well, it's not the best quality. I'm not fear mongering. It's like, you need me to do this. We're done. If you want better quality, I'll mention it once. And then if they start going around, then I'll go, okay, we can go to Riverside for audio quality and stuff like that. But it's the same thing. If people are just used to what they're doing, now I'm more assessing how bad can it be before I can't do anything. And it's pretty far away. Like, it has to be really bad where I can't fix it.
And the reason why too, and I have to keep mentioning that, I think I'll have to continue talking about that, is the reason why I'm using Zoom with for this show is so that we can hear you. We haven't had that many since we started. It's been a while since people actually come in and have us fine tune their sound, but eventually I would love to get there when people are discovering the show and wanting to just have a place like in my intro video of this channel. Not everybody has access to like.
Well,
an
while
audio
I took
person.
over for you, we did two tweaks, but none of them were on here. They were all in Clubhouse.
Yeah. So I think Clubhouse people are aware of that, and I'm trying to build that up. This is very new for me still, but trying to build that up on the YouTube side. Whether or not it's going to work, it doesn't matter, because this is I love creating this, and I love creating the space. Even hearing the conversation or engaging in the conversation, and for listeners who watch the live show or replay, hearing our conversation is already fun and good. But I would love to be able to have people jump on, like on Clubhouse, where they have me fine tune the sound. I think I've done it in like a few sessions earlier. Sorry, I'm wheezing. Did you hear that? Oh, let me mute. Let me get my inhaler out. You're seeing all of me. Go talk amongst yourself.
So there's a question in the chat. I wasn't able to look at the Apple keynote, but asking about the audio sound quality. What are your thoughts on iPhone 16 Pro's microphones? I have to go watch the keynote to make an informed answer on that. But even the 15, 14, 13, I think starting at 11, the iPhone microphones are flat. Like I've used them for major label artist vocals we did in their kitchen, because there's no frequency response to that. They put software in the iPhones to make it flat, so then you can do that. So I'm wondering how good the 16 is going to be. That'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting. So essentially,
I didn't see the keynote, so let me know.
Yeah. I don't know how they do it. So essentially, I think they have 2 additional microphones. Is it true that iPhones have 2 microphones right now, or did they have 4?
Yeah. They have one that does the noise canceling.
Now there are 4 arrays. So the microphone array is now 4.
Wow. Are they XY? Are they stereo?
I have no idea. The
I have to go look
position
at
is
the
like
keynote.
behind the thing. So I don't. It's like
because they have one here, like by your ear, to do the noise canceling, and then the one at the bottom right now. So now there's 4.
There's 4, and it's not all like where you think like a regular. It's like behind the phone. It's like right here. It's like, so this is the front of the phone, and it's like right there. So I don't know
So that
how
would be
they
for
do it.
noise cancellation. Here, I'm gonna see if I can.
It also help. It's supposed the demo you'll see when you watch the keynote, the 16 Pro section
Max.
of it. Is it? I think it's in both the 4 microphone arrays is in both Max and the regular Pro. That it will be able to do an instant mix. So as soon as you finish taking the video, you can go to your captured video, and then now you have options to choose what kind of sound you want it to output, to play back. Studio, it removes as much noise, just picking up speech. It's like solely focusing on speech. And then there's like cinematic or something where it mixes so that this environment is kind of around you, like to the sides, and then the speakers are up front. So it's interesting how, I don't know how they execute it. I'm sure they talk about it. I'm sure it's quite good.
Yeah, well, they're probably just capturing it, and then they have the additional mic to have the ambient noise. So then if you flip the phase on that, it just cancels it and makes it perfect.
And that can be the same microphone that picks up, that cancel out noise too, right? I mean, they're essentially using the same capture, but then process it differently.
Differently, yeah. So you want, and then if you want some ambience, you can just dial it back in. I'm assuming. Now I have to go watch the keynote to see.
Go check that out. And
exactly.
Next week we can talk more about it, because next week I'll get mine. No, not next. Next week I won't get mine yet. So it'll be the week after.
So what are you doing with your 15?
My sister's buying it from me. So yeah, they always reserve, because they know my. Well, the thing is, she actually wants to get with my Apple Care that I have, the Apple Care Plus, I can pay $100 and get a completely replaced phone, whether or not it's refurbished or new. I don't know, but it's new, completely new out of the box. So I will do that so that she can get like a fresh phone. But there's people in the family, and my brother's phone, my brother-in-law wants it, and then my sister wants my current phone. So
4K 120 video, with Dolby Vision in the phone, John Lowe. Oh my God, Dolby Vision in the phone, John Lowe.
She's like an.
You know what I think
thing,
about
right?
these iPhone Pros now? They should just stop making it phones. Like, don't call it phones anymore.
Yeah, because people just text. Yeah. Make it a mobile computer, which it is. Take the phone away.
Make it a production machine, a camera, or whatever you want to call it, and then you sell your iPhones. But I guess you're going to sell a lot lesser Pros.
Yes, but people would buy the phone and not use the Pro feature, but they think they would when they buy it.
Exactly.
So my studio, my work, my day job that makes my hobby possible. My day job, we have 8 iPhone 15 Pro Max just for production.
Production.
And,
as cameras.
As cameras.
Yes, as cameras.
Way cheaper, yeah.
And it is not because of budget per se. It's because there are certain it's easy, right? It's anybody can run it. Like, I am not a cinematographer. I don't know how to do lighting. I can pick up an iPhone and I can get by, right? So I don't have to learn complex cinematic camera. And so I can run it, and I do a lot of productions. In fact, there'll be TV commercials coming out that is shot. Well, the whole keynote was shot with iPhone. So why can't our commercial?
This has color grading 4K 120 in Dolby Vision. Wow. That's insane.
It's interesting. I'm not going to use, my personal phone, I probably won't use all those features. My studio phone.
I wonder if they have some Atmos stuff in here. I have to go watch
I have not. Yeah,
no,
I have not heard it. I thought about you. They talk about spatial audio.
Yeah.
And
I have to see.
If it's already built in, I'm sure they are able to use the information.
Well, they were able to isolate the background noise,
for the studio mode,
the sound that's not in the camera, as in like off camera. So basically, that particular demo that they do, there's 2 persons in the camera that they are recording. That 2 persons audio will be able to be isolated from voices that's off camera. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, so that's why the extra mic is like an ambient mic, and then they can flip the phase on it, cancel it.
Yeah. And
so
then
that-
they could isolate the background. Like for instance, if let's say the demo basically says that you're in a cafe and there's like, the background cafe noises
clinking and
and
clanking.
make it cinematic, so that that it's not studio kind of sound production of it.
But we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see. And
Desert titanium with a terabyte.
that's what I'm ordering. Not
on the
terabyte.
phone.
Not terabyte. I mean this desert titanium.
Yeah, but if you're going, like whatever 8K, you're gonna need a terabyte.
Yes, well, most people would have an
the
external drive. Like we don't shoot for the production that we do in my particular instance, like in our studio. When we shoot it, we don't shoot it in ProRes. Just the files were just too big for us to handle, and most of the stuff
you're going
that
to encode it anyway. So
we're doing social content, so we don't do that. But I have used. In fact, I was editing the project. In fact, I shot it, went to my vacation. They finished 2 projects using this footage, and I'm picking up the second project, the tail end of the second project right now, looking at footage that I shot. And I shot it with Blackmagic and using H.shot 265. So, and then shooting Apple
265 it's going to be like that anyway. So why use ProRes and take all the time to encode it? Just do it right off the bat.
Some production needed that. Like if you need a lot of like grading and the data information on there, you would need more. But most cases for our usage, we don't need it. So we would shoot H.shot 264. File size is a lot smaller, but editing takes a little bit. Not like the playback takes longer. So I remember seeing the editor that worked before me. He actually has to render out a proxy because he couldn't work as quickly because it was shot in H.shot 265.
Oh, because I had to decode back to edit.
It takes more because the file is smaller and it takes more on the computer and on the post end. But that's because he was editing on an older machine. I am editing on the
I was going to ask. I'm like,
the newer MacBook Pro. What is
and what software?
I use Adobe Premiere. I've used Final Cut at home.
Studio grade microphones and multi-track.
Okay. Oh, yes. Oh, something that I wanted to tell you. Maybe we can talk about that next week. You go watch the keynote and come back next week. We'll talk about it. Make some notes of what you want to talk about. The voice memo, you can do multi-track now, voice memo.
Yeah, that's...
Right. So it's interesting. So why don't we wrap up now for this week? And then we'll talk about it next week when you get a chance to watch the keynote, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more about it. I'm sure there'll be reviews video out by then. Then we can talk a little bit more about the audio side, maybe a little bit of video side on Soundcheck as well. Sounds good?
Damn.
All right. Thanks, Sean, for the conversation. John, thanks for accompanying me, especially during Roadcaster User Meetup, where we had great conversations over there as well. We will carry on our conversation next week. And if you enjoy the conversation, please make sure you subscribe and also hit the notification bell. So when we go live, we only do this live. All our conversations are held live. So come join us. And if you want to be part of the show, feel free to go to the website, learner2learner.com, and you have all the information there when the show comes on, both shows, as well as how to join the Zoom call so that you can participate in the conversation as guests. All right. See you next week. Bye, everybody. Ciao.